many amaba. Fega yena fida hadi kamasa. Using the people to fill up your pockets, but when they need you, ananga. Groups of what I ain't like move mind. The type of people that move with me, light it up with cool. I'm always spitting like food for it. You know how we do, we ain't true with me. Bust it to man, do the whole crew with me. Messing with Ace, you taking a loss like most of them shows in Q City.
Hey, then you got sideline. Why you nila who def seen you def doing big things on the sideline? Hey, hey, hey.
Then you got sideline. Why you nila who def seen you def doing big things on the sideline?
Yeah, we doing big things on the sideline. Then you got sideline. Why you nila who def seen you def doing big things on the sideline? Hey, you then you got sideline. Why you nila who def seen you def doing big things on the sideline? Hey, and then you got sideline. Assalamu alaikum, Gambia. Peace and love to each and everybody out there. Assalamu alaikum. Feels so good to be home. Feels so good to be home. Thank you, Gambia. Thank you to the whole world. Yeah, man. Check out my new look. Tell me what y'all think. You know, drop it in the comment section. We are lawful, we are legal. Then you got sideline.
Why you nila who def seen you def doing big things on the sideline?
Hey, then you got sideline. Why you nila who def seen you def doing big things on the
sideline? I'm still standing while haters be standing.
Thinking I'm a barcode. Album bu aju the album koe. Limoy Kilimanjaro.
They thought that they would the bitch go in the book and I'm not the barcode.
After my album drop, there's gonna be a rap embargo. Baby, they said I'm not by my no tangle code, I'm going to no jaro.
Ready for smoke tobacco.
I'm so loco Paco.
Internationally they know my name.
But you so loco Paco. These extremists keep hanging my piece like I'm Burkina Faso.
Rap niggas don't shine.
You know got a lot of niggas. Might as well how the wild niggas came me there for change. Body lot of fakers. Such a wild life over body alligators. Killer on the mic, lyrical annihilator. Violate you right now or later. Not nice right now, but I'm on y'all later. Feed my fear. Yeah, all vibrators. Yeah, man.
Gave me the for change. Body lot of fakers. Such a wild life over body alligators. Killer on the mic, lyrical annihilator. Violate you right now or later. Not nice right now, but I'm on y'all later. Feed my fear. Could have all vibrators. Hey, you got a sideline. Why you nila who def seen you def doing big things on the sideline? Then you got a sideline. Why you nila who def seen you def doing big things on the sideline? These nice star bars you might hit. So nice your neck and a tamala. My music speaks I'm daraja.
Yo supercado dal tamala. Man with my deck come free food. Hey, why did it I'm darala? Send beef with it just with it. La minute that for was a come to mada. We must have come bena to me. Do things and take for two camera. Send me a body I kamacha. Irrigation Koni Mohammed Ja. DJ Neh Lamini Amarba. Fega yena fida hadi kamasa. We using the people to fill up your pockets, but when they need you, ananga. Groups of what I ain't like move mind. The type of people that move with me, light it up with cool. I'm always spitting like food for it. You know how we do, we ain't true with me. Bust it to man, do the whole crew with me. Messing with Ace, you taking a loss like most of them shows in Q City. Sideline. Assalamu alaikum, peace and love, Gambia. Once again, it's your boy Sendombi, Sen brother, Sen Raka, Nyana legacy, new generation, be Sen uncle, you know, and I'm more positive today, you know, than ever. You know, let's not be defeated, let's not give up, let's refuse to be intimidated. Happiness is a peace of mind and a state of mind, so always be happy. You know, let me know what you think about the new look, you know. Let me know what you think, you know. Yeah, I wanted it to kind of match with the Gumsa Whopper logo. So I was like, yo, Parlay. Shout out to Parlay for the haircut, you know. Yeah, straight up, you know. But basically, I'm just going to do this live video to thank and show appreciation to each and everybody, every single one, as this was a collective effort. This wasn't an individual Killer Ace thing or anything. This is Gambia. This is for our future, for our children, for the generations to come. So I'm doing this video specifically to say thank you to, you know, everybody who really played their part in this collective effort to see the Gambia that we want, you know. So bless up to y'all, and hopefully, you know, we're going to see that Gambia. The Fundraising support.
I be jamming what this can't sail in this shit. Gambian, let's realize what is real democracy. Can't you see what we're living in is some democracy? Got them hollies when you make guys saka nigga back. Con my father let put them back system bank it over your head. Corruption be very be money doing. Police brutality be money doing. Enough is enough, it's enough, it's enough.
Oh yeah.
Environment and destruction be doing. Arbitrary arrest be money doing. Enough is enough, it's enough, it's enough. I'm calm, so wait up or fuck my boy. If I get a now walk, let your body take the boy. Jack the free jack, go fill it, get in talks, he says he yoy. Promise to free the poor battle of a tailor, get a joy. Remember your gas and boats in Techland for on the front line, what's the youth in
December.
Learn to tell on to lean, no. We here to bring back your mind and make you remember. You promised us freedom of expression, you jealous. Intimidated tactics like jamming, you're trying to scare us. This communication, we don't hear you, you don't hear us. We may be quite familiar with your promises and failures. The system that we fought against, the same system laying us. Days of staying shut is outdated, we gonna raise it up. Informed citizens, everyone is waking up. Sorrows and experiments can be Peter's mind taking us. Corruption, we don't be money, police brutality, be money, enough is enough, it's enough, it's enough.
Ah yeah.
Environment and destruction, be doing.
Dafa doy.
Be money,
Dafa doy.
enough is enough, it's enough, it's enough.
Ah yeah.
Put them watching in your day,
Go to you.
put your ear in your harass every day.
Go to you.
Put April 10, 11, tell you what. Put for 10, the guy talk Camille be dang see what.
What? We love.
When you the gun see campaign, the fulfill then go. Ninyagi day, every day, and I feel then go. Jibuni, JTC, that's what we need, man. Shakamunut Sabutela, Danu, ni 1 minute, man.
Manelege dafa doylu overturu way Nyaka kurang bendong bi askan bi amun muslu way No def sa fridge mi yahu tele takut fu ñuy wéeru way Am right su ndoxte du ko ñaan askan wi dey ak nobal way ñaaw teef di fi bari te kaw bi waxut si dara Dëkk bi ora tuto génne wuli sax di para Nit ñi óolootuñ security bu ñuy takkani téere ñu ñu wara aar di ñu lor li tax dëkk bi du seere
Corruption be very be money police brutality be money
Yeah. Shout out to our bling Mahadi Hammer, Sparkling Black, Bilal bin Keba, Killa Ace, Bob Mamadi, Dafa doy anthem. Ah yeah.
And them bringing the crew, then the bell sick. Make my service fuck la nen sending jit. Dund bi dafa seer yoon bi baaxul taxi. Yokk essence gas oil fu ndi jéem a passé taxi. Éducation bu boo. Agency central yi baaxul liggéey yi ngeen dig ndaw yi. Dara ci amul dafa doy. Yéen rek a nekk si traga sunu gerte boy. Ah non dafa doy. Corruption bu bari bi ma ne doy. Dafa doy. Police brutality bi ma ne doy. Dafa doy.
Yeah, peace and love everybody, peace and love. Shout out to all the artists who use their art to speak for society. Our bling, I see you, Pa Mamadi, Sparkling Black, Mahadi Hammer, me, myself and I, of course. You know what I'm saying? My man Tom 50 was also in this. You know what I'm saying? The Fatoi Anthem. You know, we love this. We do this for the people, you know? So yeah, let's officially start. Please like, share, you know, forward the message as your fist up in the air, you know. Every share is a fist up in the air, you know. And please hashtag by Kemomu Dekabi or the revolution starts now. So I'm gonna just go straight to the point and first say thank you so much, my sincere appreciations to the Gambia and the international world. I say the international world as Killa Ace also, Numneke, Killa Ace the Gambia. You know, Aduna Vitamit around the world, alhamdulillah. There's a lot of people who, through my same work and mission, God has connected me with them, from organizations to social movements to individuals to creatives and artists. And the solidarity from the continental level was also equally, given, So thank you to my peoples. This is something that I believe should be the Gambia that we want and the Gambia that we are fighting for. And this is the most important element, is the unity aspect of it. Touch one, touch all. We all fought against injustices, against Tammy Jame. We all been through one situation or another. Families had to go into exile. Some people disappeared. Some people lost their lives just for trying to express their constitutional right or speak up for their country. And going through that sad and dark history, this basically should be a learning point for us to never again let that happen again. And you all prove collectively, and I love to say the word collectively, because one thing I've learned in the struggle is that the collective efforts is what move and brings the change. It's not an individual thing. I've seen businessman, the layman, journalist, artist, all people from all walks of life, even people in the civil service or in the civil service, and even people in the security, all played a part one way or another to bring that change we want. And this recent events basically showed us that if we come together for the common cause, then we can get what we want. Not for no problem, but for the betterment of Gambia. I would like to thank, my peoples in Senegal, Yanamar, the sister organization of Team Gumsa Bopa. They basically put this word out to all the international organizations across all of the continental African, Pan-African networks through Afriki, etc. I would like to give a special thanks to Wadamos in Ghana. Thank you so much. They released a press statement and also put some pressure, using their international relations and contacts. Also, definitely cannot forget Africans Rising, for also playing their part, being concerned, being worried, putting out statements, putting out releases. I definitely appreciate you. Also can't forget, all of the other civil society advocates across Africa and my fellow artists, across Africa, from Kenya to Zimbabwe to, Tanzania. People were sharing, solidarity messages for me and those that were detained. Also, I have to take some notes down because I really wanted to formalize this, so that I don't miss out on anything. So this is basically what I'm going to start off with. I'm also going to thank the 22 brothers, that were detained with me. By virtue, God made me the popular, the famous one who has the opportunity to be visible and to probably have access to more support because of, the nature of, who I am. But equally, I do believe that the 22 young people who were arrested along with me and went through the same situations and conditions as I did, some even worse, I do believe they equally deserve to be recognized, respected, and celebrated, and without them, I don't think the resistance would have been possible. Because when we come up with ideas like, let's not take the police bail, these are people who've never been in this situation, never been arrested in their life. Some people as young as 18, 19, and, their will and dedication to go along with the cause, despite the risk, the families that they left behind. I really believe that played a great part, that united stand, on all decisions that affected all of us. It was like, if you're going to release him, you're going to release all of us type of mentality. And we actually became brothers because we were divided in 4 different police stations. And each of us that were in those police stations, we slept together, woke up together, shared food together, shared the same frustration together. And that brought this natural bond within this 1 week between all of us 22. So I would definitely like to give them, their credit, their respect. And I believe they should be celebrated. From my guy, Ibrahim Jallo, aka Ghetto Pen. He's a Gala representative who was arrested as one of the Gala executive members, but he was arrested on the 2nd day. Shout out to Ansumana, Sound Brother, we really appreciate your struggles, and sorry for putting your family through this. Ibrahim Ajata, my man is like, we share the same cell in Bakote, me and him and other brothers. Ibrahim Ajata is just a passionate, brother. As a young man, he's into like construction and stuff, and he didn't expect to be arrested or detained to the extent where, he couldn't even contact his business partners and handle pending businesses. He's a family man with a wife. You know, his wife comes to the police station every day with his child, have a beautiful child. You know, every day they come to the Backwater police station, you know, just checking up on him and trying to do his best. So shout out to Ibrahim. You know, he also was one of those who was down with anything that we decided, and he also contributed great ideas whilst we were in the cells, and I really like to celebrate him as well. Of course, can't forget Ibrahim Keita. Shout out to Keita, bro. You know, the more man to over here, you know, I'll let you explain that when that comes out. You know, I can't forget Sisaho Danso. Yeah, Sisaho also another well-spirited guy. And these are all people who never been arrested. Like people like me and Lamin C, they were actually, you know, like we actually been arrested, been through the system. But these are guys who never ever expected in their life, you know, to be arrested. So we must celebrate them. Shout out to Lamin C. You know, he's the Team Gumsobop, a national mobilizer. You know, he played a great part in making sure that me as a leader, you know, was well composed and didn't forget, you know, that it's bigger than me and I have people behind me who are in the same situation that look up to me. So shout out to Lemon C. You know, he's definitely a true leader, and also somebody who stands for the rights of anybody, no matter what the situation is. So we celebrate you, Lemon C. You know, and of course this annoying little kid, Badu Seka. Oh, Badu nearly gave us a heart attack. Badu, you know, shout out to Badu. Now he calls himself Junior Killer Ace, you know. Yeah, you know, I know Badu. Yeah, well, shout out to him because his story is just, I don't know, it's interesting because Badu was the youngest of us that was detained. Badu is a student. Badu is a nice kid. Badu is just, you know, funny, you know, he's just a cool kid. You know, so seeing Badu in that situation, you know, to the extent where he had to go through certain situations at Kairaba police station, then come to Mile 2. Badu's situation really, you know, it was one of the cases that really hit me in my heart. Because Badu, he has like underlying medical issues, which the police neglected. One, when we were arrested, the first arrest when we were taken to Kairaba station, we were manhandled so bad that Mom specs on me, his lunette, he wears some specs because like his eyes, they burn and stuff. Like he has some also eye issues, which requires for him to wear those glasses. So during the brutality of the police officers, like his glasses, you know, fell down and got missing. You know, and also my beads. You know, I had these beautiful beads my daughter gave me. You know, and then it had like 27 pieces that shattered. I only found 3 pieces. You know, so Badu's glasses were spoiled. So Badu literally couldn't really see to the best of his abilities while we were in Kairaba police station and detained. And he also told him that, like, you know, he kind of have like certain issues. And it went to the extent where Badu eventually collapsed and fainted in the cell. And we had to make noise and tell the officer somebody fainted, emergency. And they lifted him up and took him out, you know. So Badu's case, you know, I don't think as a young person, like, you know, he deserved to be treated like that. You know, he did not, you know, just like everybody else. But Badu as a student, nice kid, you know, he did not deserve that. And the fact that authorities neglected, right, our pleas for him to be treated with privilege, considering his age, 1, and 2, considering, you know, his health conditions, right? He was in the cell for a couple of hours, couldn't have access to his glasses until the police officers eventually found them. And when they found the glasses were broken. One eye, this one, you know, I'm half living beanie. When we were in the prison, I was like, yo, give us the prescription of the glasses and the team will come and, you know, bring you some new glasses because you can't be coming out here with one eye, you know, shattered and the other eye, you know what I'm saying? We're not on TikTok Live, bro. So, and fortunately, we got released that same day. So, the fact that authorities neglected Badu, you know, it's really shocking. You know, and he was one of those that took bail because there was 3 people that took bail. But what the police don't tell you is that those people didn't take bail because, like, you know, they wanted to. No, because they all had medical conditions. So he took bail, and even though he took the police bail, he was also one of those that ended up in Mile 2. So my people, don't ever trust or go for police bail. As long as it's not a capital offense or a capital crime, all these small get-to-self charges, don't ever take police bail. That's a word of advice as an advocate who has been a victim of police bail. So shout out to Badu. God bless you and sorry for you going what you going through. You were a hero. Shout out to Yaya JT, calm, always, on his mind, on his thinking, trying to see how we could always, be cool as well, which is very good. Can't forget, Rafine. Rafine, come to find out he's a poet, and when we were in the police van being taken to court, he did some spoken word freestyles. And bro, it's just amazing the level of talent that this kid got. Very quiet. He was the most quietest of all. He doesn't talk much, but he's ready for whatever at the same time. And like the level of talent that he has and his passion shows you that Gambia really has a future of young people who really want change. And they have talent. So shout out to Rafine. And come to find out, he knows one of my sisters, Mariama Cham. Shout out to my sister, Mariama Cham. And we got to have that conversation, when we were incarcerated together. And also Yusuf Taylor, Flex Don, the Team Gumsawop spokesperson. Yusuf Taylor, man, I call him now Flex Mandela. Yusuf, he's our spokesperson, but beyond that, Yusuf is one of these brothers who've been fighting for Gambia since he was in the UK, more than 15 years ago. Flex is somebody who's been there for Gambia forever. He studied civil engineering. Like, sometimes people think that we just some nyama people, but he studied civil engineering. But his passion for Gambia made him leave UK to just come settle down and do what he does, love doing. And despite that, Flex, when we were in this situation, he was one of the most resilient, most informed, and also had more information, due to his journalistic skills and ability. Flex basically was the one who started the hunger strike in the prison. He's one of the most calmest guys. Like when people like me and Tigo, go, wild out or flip, he's the one to calm us down. Like, but Flex is the one who started the hunger strike. And me, myself, I was trying to calm him. Like, Flex, no, please, man, let's calm down. You don't have to hunger strike, man. But come on, man, please. I need you to eat. Mile 2 is horrible, bro. Because if something happens to you here now, is another problem. And yeah, he went along with the hunger strike, and with 5 other people. I'm not gonna lie, I'm also on hunger strike. They must be there, But him and 5 other people, including Lamin C and other people, held it down. And salute to y'all. Like, y'all really held it down with the hunger strike, And Flex was one of those who also was very, very good with making sure that youths who were in the prison were calm, despite his own problem. So salute to you, Flex. Watch him on the media. He's coming on the media these days on different platforms, So I'm gonna just go fast. Shout out to Lamin Marigo, Combs Lamin Marigo. In Yaya Jammeh's time, he's part of our organization. He was one of those that was mobilizing with Lamin C, along with the late Solo Sending on the ground, whilst I was in exile. So he was taken to Janjangbure prison during that time in 2016, along with Lamin C. And he came from work just to show solidarity, and he was arrested. And his wife, he has a wife as well. He's a videographer, he does film, documentary, music videos. And it's sad that he was arrested again as somebody who fought for this change. Thank you, Ibu. Yeah, boy. So as somebody who really fought for change, he basically didn't deserve to come through, in this particular situation. So shout out to Lamin Marigo. So we also got Suleiman Manga. We got Musa A.C. Saho. You got Musa Conte. You got Ansumwana Ture. You got Yaya Jete. You got Bakari Jame. You got Aliou Sarr. Aliou Sarr, I'm also going to stop at Aliou Sarr because Aliou, yeah, this is deep, man. This is crazy. Aliou Sarr, shout out to him because this guy is also another nice kid. These are all people that didn't expect, to be in this situation. But he was one of those who had a severe medical condition. And he, it started when he was arrested, by the police and detained in the cell. So basically his eye, it started becoming red. And then it started just becoming super red. And then it started becoming puffy. This one eye, like the one on the right side, it started becoming puffy. Becoming red, more and more red. So whilst we were in police detention, he pleaded for them to take care of his eye. Like, yo, my eye is hurting. It hurts so bad. And they didn't really give him much attention. Through when we went to mile 2, the thing got this bigger. Like it increased in size. It doubled in size. So like, we came straight from the police to court to prison. So there was no time for us to get our own independent medical treatment. So when we went to mile 2, the problem continued. It got worse. It got worse. When we went to mile 2, they screened us, you know, and they told them, the officers at mile 2 at the clinic told them that just when the doctor comes, he's going to check him and prescribe him some medicine. Cool. So the following day, this thing's get worse, which is the night after we slept there. His eye is getting bigger and bigger. You can see that's his only frustration. So the doctor comes and gives him medicine, but the medicine prescription, after Aliu was taking that medicine, didn't really have effect. You know, the medicine didn't have no impact on his face, on his eye. So that's when I came, me and Tigo, we mobilized. We were like, yo, don't you see this guy's eye? Like, he's been swollen for days. If anything happen to his eye go blind or whatever, God forbid, you guys are in big trouble. Started making noise, started making chaos. And that's when one of the bosses assured us that he, you know, would get some treatment, and he would be taken, you know, outside of the prison to a special eye doctor, as, you know, we pleaded for. I personally, Antigo, went to the boss and told him he really needs this treatment, and we understand this is not your fault. The police created their mess and dumped it on you. But if anything happens to his eye, the prison authorities would be to blame, and that's not a good look for you. Because they sound people. Shout out to the prison officers. Be like, well, they're good peoples, man, you know. So, and he understood, and he promised to facilitate, you know, for him to be transferred. So the doctor was out. The doctor didn't arrive until the time that, you know, we were released. So, Aliu, I'm so sorry that you had to go through such a situation where, like, you know, you were in pain and was forced to live in such a horrible situation just for standing up for your people. So you're a true hero. You know, Ali, shout out to you. Shout out to Tumani Koli, Bakari Sanyang, you know, Musa Sanyang. Musa, you know, community leader. You know, he lives in my Taninding Forokono neighborhood. He used to be the coach of our team, Forokono FC. Even though could we like during his first year of coaching the community team, we got relegated. So Musa, you know, but he's a community guy. He's managed artists like Adi Special, you know, all of these young kids like Antu, you know, he's, you know, helped them up during their careers through their events, supporting logistics. So Musa is somebody that Telling Forokono knows and loves, and a very happy guy. Big, you know, I don't want to call him a idiot, but he's my guy, and me and him, you know, we got that love, you know. And he's somebody that personally is there anytime people need you. If you say that, Musa, we're going to go protest and jump in that fire, he will be one of those first people to come jump in that fire. So shout out to Musa, you know, and I'm sorry that he had to go through that, you know. And last but not least, Ibrahim Keita, you know. So sorry, that was a very, very long list of people that I felt that really, really, really deserve to be recognized and also have their names mentioned live on, you know, international platform, live on social media, so that they can be celebrated by you people, you know. I would also like to give a special thanks to the women. Yeah, I have a special category for you people, because the impact that the ladies and the women, the young women, Sun Mary, Sun Yayi, Sun Sister Yi, when I came out and started watching ice cream, Ibu, are you listening to ice cream? Yeah? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, boy. Let's see. So, sorry, the ice cream threw me off. So the women, when I came back home, you know, I was just on social media laughing, enjoying the videos, enjoying the comments, crying at the same time, because there were a lot of heartwarming comments. Thank you, Ibu. By the way, he brought me this. He's like, Daddy, he's sweating. You know how kids talk indirectly, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't want to turn the fan on because the noise, you know, might disturb my sound. So I might have to, you know, don't worry. I've been through harder conditions. Thank you, baby. So I named them after my dad and my producer, Ibrahim Harley. Thank you, Ibrahim Harley. You know what I'm saying? I asked him, do he recognize me when I came back? Because they all used to the dreadlocks. But as soon as he saw me, he said, Daddy, Daddy. So anyway, back to the topic. Thank you, Ibu. The woman, yeah, played a great role. This reminded me of the Kalamar Revolution when our gallant women, the Sukai, the Habas, you know, all of these women came out in the streets in defiance to Jammeh with their brooms. You know, it gave a different narrative, and it gave a different picture to the struggle. Seeing mothers there crying because their young sons, you know, are not going to, you know, see them for days, and they're going to go to a prison. In Gambian context, prison is something that's very serious and severe in society. see women come be defiant, speak up, shout, and be in the forefront. You know, there's a lady that laid down in front of the police van and said the van wouldn't move. Please don't do that next time, please. We need you, Hadi. Hadi, we love you. But please, these people, when they are mad and the executive orders come, they could try to do anything. You know, I really appreciate it. Please, darling, please. All right, I'm gonna get you some specific security guards so that you don't lay underneath the police van. And we appreciate it. These are the sacrifices that these people did. These are the sacrifices that the women actually did. Despite the couple of Hamilton and so naked again. Nga génn si xam nga taxawal affaire yi askan bi ñu ne hey bàyyi politique bàyyi lii bàyyi lay hey bu si dugg. But you didn't find that. You actually mobilized more women. My sister Safilo. Hey Safilo! My sister Safilo live in the same house, you know what I'm saying? She was also arrested. You know, she came with my wife, and eventually, you know, when she heard that we were going to prison, like, you know, they held it down. So you, the woman, you reminded me that women always, when they take lead and they take charge and participate in any meaningful struggle, their struggle must succeed. Because you add another voice. The women are the mothers of the police officers. They're the sisters. So the level of morality and sympathy that women bring on the ground, you know, it's a different kind of energy. So I encourage more women, you know, to partake in civic responsibility, social responsibility. Then anyone there, we really appreciate you. You know, also the next generation. Like, I've seen so many young people participate. Yeah, but once I feel we know big up guy was after yeah, shout out to wifey, you know what I'm saying? She held it down when we were in the jail, both at the police and in prison. Every day we had fresh big food come in that was enough to feed us and the whole entire police station. You know, every day some good home cooked food came through, and shout out to the women. This is why, you know, the Prophet Muhammad, I heard that they said that according to narration, you know, I'm not really religiously learned, but I heard that during the times of, you know, the religious struggles, you know, the men used to go to the battlefields while the women used to treat the wounds, you know, make sure that the men were on the front line healthy and, you know, ate some great food. And that manifested because the food that used to come from the house was like so much that it was enough for everybody that was there, to the extent where we could share with the police officers that were very nice to us in our police stations. So so the next generation, we've been doing this for years and years, and this is all that we wanted, was to see young people take charge. And you have proven that, yes, never again young people will be silent. This next generation, from university students to ordinary students, to the ghetto youth, to the ordinary layman living in the hood and in the communities, right? To the little boy that's just being born. The level of energy, from the dancing to the chanting to the spirit to the discipline, is just commendable and really makes me feel that this is what we've been fighting for years. To have young people not be silent. Because there was a time, young people can tell you about how many goals Cristiano Ronaldo scored, or how many assists and goals that Messi has in his whole life, but cannot tell you one line from the Constitution of the Gambia. They cannot quote Section 25. But now, these young people are quoting sections. They're talking about conversations that are of national interest. They're coming out in the streets to actually, with no fear, with energy, adding a new force. So I have to shout out to these young people. Shout out to Killa, you know, who also brought in this new wave and new vibrant, you know, feel, you know. So this is something I have to specifically also highlight, which is the young people. You guys are the next generation. My personal advice is keep the fire burning, you know, be disciplined. They always want to see us, you know, be on the wrong side so they can use it against us. So always, you know, think smart, be more informed, you know, and mobilize and strategize and be organized, like I learned when I was in Kenya and Tanzania. So thank you to the young people. Shout out to the media. I also got to give a special thanks to the media. The media, Gambian media, by extension, international media, played a part in exposing the injustices that were happening to me and the 22 other comrades. media basically put the story out there. There's millions and millions of views, clicks, likes, and engagements collectively. From the Kid Fatus to the Fatu networks to the VN medias to all of these social media, so to everyone on these platforms, to the social media powerful powerhouses like What's on Gambia, Citizens Outlook, etc., etc. I can't be mentioning names and then forget here or there. But social media as a large. Journalists were on the ground. Police were harassing them whilst we were trying to read our petition. But they were there. They sacrificed and filmed, took pictures. Thanks to journalists, people like me, have the opportunity for the whole world to see how police were pushing me. Thanks to the journalists, the message spread out. So thank you, Safilo.
Yeah.
Well, we have your legal okay, and now more kind of a police living. Right now, we got news my fancy man in life. The more big up jiggy you have managing like jambaringen. Understand that, the la masa chono. So just ben anyari kado, right? She just woke up. Mom yago di la masani ben anyari kado Safilo. Yeah. Sis la guy degu tesa. Yes. Sis acha.
Assalamualaikum, maa ngi leen di gërëm di leen sant. Ci da ngeen jox ci taxawaay bi kontaan nañ trop gis nañ ngeen taxawoo suma mag ju baax ci mooy suma life mooy suma everything. Di leen gërëm di leen sant. Xam nga ñun dëkk bi leen am te ñun amul lu dul Gambia. Képp ku taxaw di faytal sa réew di leen génne wane suñ boppa. Waaye kontaan naa gërëm naa leen yéen ñëpp gis nañ tamit nu ngeen taxawoo Ali comme seen boppa. sonn ngeen jàpp ne ñu yóbbu ñu terewu tamit ñu gifo ñu ngi si ba tey anytime ñu ngi seen ginnaaw ndax doom ku dëkk si dëkk bi lépp lu la métti si dëkk bi rek am nga raay pour taxaw kaas ko kon duñ leen mën a wax lu dul ci jëf rek di leen jaaraamal kontaan naa ci yéen bu baax a baax leen ci jàppale dina baax incha allah ñu jàppale suñu mag ji
Safi,
thank you
you were Safi Mom, she was amongst the women. Safi, you had to Alaston.
ñun 6 la
Okay, so then about you will fun.
ñu ñoo ke man ma ngoon kay la ba
There were 6 of them women, her and other 6 women who were arrested, and they took them to Kairaba.
waaw man kay la ba la nekkoon yeneen 5 ñoo nekkoon Banjul
And the other 5 were taken to Banjul headquarters, and that's where you slept for Fana.
waaw ñun foofu leen
And they had to sleep in those cells as women. And I heard that they len bole ak jigeni.
waaw de waaw man moom
am na len bole ak goor am na ñoo xamantene len bole ak goor ci benn
waaw
cell.
man moom man a góor ñoo nekkoon si benn cell bi Kairaba.
You heard they said that they put them in the same cells with men when she was at Kairaba, whilst the other women were taken to Banjul. Right, Safilo, yo, then I'm in a special TikTok live. We explain, we talk about the women in the struggle and explain the narrative because these are all sacrifices that people out there really put out there, and all of those sisters, Balama, so I mentioned too. Ligata must send to excellent information, please, because we have to check them out and also thank them because they didn't deserve, parce que referred to tear gas la, but put it brutalized la, but put it yobula, put you up away. They were tear gassed, arrested, and put away because they were very vocal, talking to media, and very, very effective on the ground. So I apologize to all her, my sister, Safilo. Since a little kid, I basically, raised her. She stays here with me. Assalamu alaikum, brother. How you doing, man? Yeah, respect. I said, got it. Yeah, respect. Yeah, please share. Each share is a fist. Saying the revolution. Each share is a fist. I would also like to give a thanks to. I was talking about the media. Yeah, so. Also, can't forget the influencers. I swear to God, the night I came from Mile 2, I had my other phone. I went online, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. As much as I was in pain, because I got like bruises here, you see. So I don't like to expose my body, but this is, I was brutalized seriously. I have other marks on my neck, by the police, like seriously. Thank you. I went to the Lopitan yesterday, the hospital. The doctors checked it out. Yeah, so I came home really messed up and tired, but as soon as I got online, I swear to God, I was laughing, crying because there was so much content that went viral in relation to this case from social media influencers, comedians, TikTokers. Like, the content was so amazing and creative and sent a very powerful message. Thank you so much, yin TikTokers, yin bloggers, yin influencers, yin all of you that were out there using your individual platforms that you use to send your message across, to send and show solidarity to, you know, the youth of the Gambia, you know. So thank you, the media at large, you know. Thank you to the newspapers, like even it was on the front line of the newspapers, you know. So yeah, I also like to thank my special thanks to my fellow artists, you know, my fellow musicians definitely contributed in the campaign. Yes, I agree. Most of the popular Gambian rap artists, most of the popular Gambian musicians do not, you know, or I can say are scared. Yeah, scared, you know, just to keep it straight. They're scared to join campaigns like this, you know, but it's not everybody. It's not all Gambian artists. So my people out there, please don't generalize, you know, because there's many artists who supported this campaign, from Rupa Tapa, you know what I'm saying, you had Mahade Hama, you had the movements, you had Sparkling Black. Sparkling Black as an artist offered free medical screening to all of the 22 people who were arrested. Shout out to Sparkling Black, our Bling, you know, as one of the leading female artists, you know, that uses her arts. You know, so there were many artists. Hussein Dada. Shout out to you, Hussein Dada. You know what I'm saying? Kumbonka. You know what I'm saying? Killa, the hip hop platform. Everybody from the Cypher Network, you know, showed love. You know, the rappers themselves, a lot of them showed love. Easy T. And almost all of these people that like showed love and supported the network. So there are a lot of artists that supported this. So in as much as a lot of people have are blaming artists for not contributing, but I'm also using this as an opportunity to say that there are a lot of artists, maybe they're not be as famous as your STs or as your Jesus or your Attacks, you know, but they're in this industry and they're prominent artists, you know, internationally, all the way to Ombre Zion in Senegal, you know, my man Abambasa Mandela, you know, all the way in Kenya, you know, it was even network from Africans artists, you know, who were showing love and solidarity. So thank you to artists, all artists out there upcoming, whether you are popular. Always use your music as an art for social change. When the people need you, be there for them, because music is a very powerful tool to spread the message. You, the artist, when you post one thing, 5,000 people see it, sometimes millions of people see it, and that alone has an impact, like what Son Gambia is doing. They have thousands and hundreds of thousands of followers. If they post one information, everybody knows it. You artists have the same star power. So use that ability, you know, to advocate for peace, change, transparency, and things that affect you. Your fans use internet to stream your music. We are in the world of Audio Mac. We are in the world of YouTube. We are in the world of TikTok. So your fans need data to stream your music and support you to be able to gain revenue. So if the data and internet is expensive for your fans, my dear artist, how would you expect them to support you through these mediums? Because they will have less internet or data to watch more longer videos. Instead of watching 5 of your videos, maybe they might even watch one video for 1 minute. So if the internet goes up, how can they stream you on Spotify, YouTube, iTunes, where that which allows you to get a little bit of, you know, return and support you as an artist? So you should not be silent in matters like this. This affects you, the artist. Amun man artist la, no, you know, na ni affaire politique boko masi, li do politique. We are not politicians. We are non-partisan. We're non-partisan. This is for the people. Politics determine the way that we live. The performance fees that you have to pay as an artist, the performance license, those are all regulated by the government, brother. The policies which will allow you to earn copyright and get paid royalties, those are all things that can be implemented by the government. So when cases happen that are important, my brothers and sister artists support and be there for the people. Also, I would also like to give a special thanks to the anonymous, you know, because a lot of people do a lot of goodwill, but, you know, want to stay behind the scenes and don't want their name out there. When we were incarcerated, a lot of people helped in different ways, legally, this way, that way, made sure our families were good, you know, and we didn't even know until we came out. And some of those people had done a lot and don't want to be mentioned, They don't want to thank you on Facebook. They don't want, you know, hey, Aji Kujas, Yai Momo, Jehe won $50,000 people, $50,000 people, Hale send, Rare be accent Gagarabi. You know, people that want to remain anonymous. Even though, you know, confidentiality is important, but from the bottom of my heart, you know who you are. You know, whether you were somebody who's behind the scenes mobilizing, whether you were somebody who supported financially, you know, whether you were somebody who even spread the word out to your fellow brother or sister, you know, all of you that remain anonymous, because not everybody needs to be visible, you know, from all walks of life, you know, from businessmen to the ordinary Gambian to even, you know, people who are in the conversation. So thank you, all the anonymous people. Thank you for doing good without wanting to be, you know, given shouted out to. But even though in this, as much as we would like to mention your name and say thank you and let the whole world know, you know, as one of you guys say, Jif Juba Kendukosul, you never bury a good deed, but we will respect your level of privacy and anonymity to, you know, not say it. Last but not least, I want to also give a shout out to the police. Now, this is gonna, you know, be funny because if somebody says somebody that has been treated very unjust by the police to come out and say, you know, he want to give a special shout out to the police. Yes, I do. Yes, we have been treated very badly and horribly. But no, say about Nanga. You sure?
Yeah.
All right, thanks, man. We have been treated very horribly as young people by these same police, and you know, we were brutalized. They wanted us to go to prison. You know, they wanted to use us as an example so that, you know, nobody else would dare to go out and fight for their constitutional right to peacefully assemble. And, you know, they put us through a lot of pain, as I showed you the scratches and bruises. You know, some of the officers basically beat one person that was part of us, Bakari, to the extent where, you know, his shoulder was dislocated. Even Ibrahim Aja's shoulder was dislocated. But Bakari's case was worse because his was dislocated since he was in the police station. You know, he had to go to the hospital. That's one of the reasons why he took bail. And one thing about Bakari, when we were taken to Mile 2, he eventually fainted because he needed some physiotherapy. But because of the process of how we were just taken from the police and to court, you know, he couldn't get the required treatment. So in the prison where we were sleeping, it's very hard, it's very harsh. We sleep on hard wood, you know, and that's not the type of condition that somebody who needs physiotherapy should sleep on. So sometimes Flex used to massage him, you know, and we tried our best, but you can tell how he was really broken to the extent where he fainted. You know, and we nearly caused a riot in the cell because I told them that, yo, we told you people are sick and you bringing them here. You know, so shout out to Bakari. You know, yeah, that's something Lord Hammond and I felt like I had to put it on the table. Yeah, so when it comes to the overall efforts of the police too in making us go through the situation, for somebody to also say I have to thank the police again, it might seem contradictory, but no, it's not. Because yes, police did treat us bad, and treated us horribly, but equally, they were police who treated us like royalty and treated us like kings and citizens and respected our rights. For example, and specifically, when we were in Bakote police station, because we were dispersed to 4 different police stations, the 22 of us. Bakote police station, Cairo police station, Kotu police station, and there's another one off my head, I kind of forgot. But it was 4 various police stations. And 9 of us were at Bakote police station. But when we were at Bakote police station, the officers that were there, shout out to Krubali, you know, shout out to Cisse, Sergeant Cisse, shout out to Sanyang, you know, these officers, you can tell visibly, as junior officers, they really felt our pain. They took very good care of us. They granted us access to our loved ones. You know, they made sure that our people saw us. You know, they made sure that our food was taken on time. You know, they even brought like bleach and all of these things, you know, for us, you know, to make sure that the place was smelling good, you know, like what digga ne yalla, you know. So you offend tamit, you know, do my neck comment, do my offend just because of people think that I am anti-police. These brothers and sisters, these officers in Bakote police station, I heard in Kotu was the similar. The officers were down with us. Anything that we send them out to get for us, they'll get for us. They'll send one of the junior staff. You know, they'll allow us to communicate with our people out there, you know, to tell them to bring things for us. You know, they'll motivate us, turn the TV on for us to watch. You know, we even joked with them, had a relationship with them. Shout out to Gata Saf, you know, she was one of the officers that was there always at the front desk, you know, and she really, you know, was funny, you know. So we were treated very well by these officers, even though we were not in good conditions. You know, and I really believe that should be highlighted, you know, because many of these officers, and to put this in the context, what the police do is when they arrest all of you or many people or a group of people, right, they disperse people to different police stations. They do this for various reasons, right? One is so that people don't come and mobilize, so that people don't come and gather like sympathizers, don't come and gather like, you know, groups of people don't come gather in the Kairaba police station in one place, which they are scared of, because they know once people gather, become 100 people, 200, 300, 400, 1,000, you know, it's on social media, people are coming more. That's not good for them because there's going to be too much pressure for them. So they split us into various places, so that, you know, it splits the movement. That's how I can say it. And also, too, it also is like, to me, I don't think it's legal. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is me thinking of opinion, because I do believe if I'm arrested in around Pipeline, my jurisdiction is Kairoba police station, right? If I'm arrested in Kotu, then I should be taken to Kotu police station. But all of us who are arrested in Kairoba were dispersed to different police stations in different jurisdictions. So what they do is now they will just go to a police station, Bakote, and dump all 9 of us, whilst there were already existing people who were in those cells and those police stations. Now, with no authority, with the SO of the police, this is like enforced. Like, hey, Bakote police station, you know, here are these people, we dump them here, no explanation of the case, it's an order from the top, you know, let them stay here. Even the SOs, you know, the station officers who are, you can say, the law, in the law, the heads of these police stations. The station officer, the SO, is the commander-in-chief of that police station. So he should be informed of every single matter that comes or is brought to his police station. But this is not the case. The police would bring people who had medical conditions and would not even inform the SO. We have to tell the SO, hey, SO, be careful that this guy, he had this problem there, and the police there at, you know, Sar and his guys are the ones who really tortured him and brutalized him there. He fainted once before that. And they and thanks to that, Buddy was, you know, put outside, you know, and had privilege, and he was put into the cell. So they basically abuse their own fellow men and officers and abuse their rights, you know, as far as authority and respect is concerned. So these police stations are just like dumping grounds. And I do believe that the Gambia police force should give station officers their respect to the extent where, you know, these officers don't have to carry the burden of what you guys created. It's just unfair. You know, you gave them extra work, overwhelming pressure, you know, hundreds and hundreds of visits, you know, and I don't think that's really fair. So thank you to the police. Suba, you know, I'm going to go to Bakote police station with my wife and the correct. Wow, because we were family to the extent that, you know, every food that we had in the cell as inmates, right? What we did was we shared most of it, because Gala was bringing lunch. Lunch was coming from the house. Momuru Aliun Jai used to bring like all these shawarmas, pizzas, all of these things on the regular. So there was this abundance of food to the extent where everything we had, you know, we just basically like, yo, di bala mo yahu, acha officer and chill, you know, to the extent where, like, you know, I don't want to say everything before, you know, police, they can be jealous and try to put them or try to downplay, you know, those police officers for doing what is their constitutional right of treating citizens fairly. So thank you to the police officers, and equally the officers in the prison, because they were very, very good to us. You know, they're not perfect as well, but, you know, majority of them treated us very well, you know, understood our pain, and were patient for us, patient with us, despite us being, you know, these people who are already frustrated, angered, mad, etc., etc. You know, so they were really patient with us. They understood our pain. They didn't even want us to be there because the prison is already overcrowded, and that was just more work for them. And to be honest, you know, from the one day, like, they allowed us to see our people. You know, everything went well, and you know, they basically treated us very well. And I felt pity for them because they also had to take the load of what another police or another security force created. You know, and they didn't deserve to be in that situation. You know, their men also equally. I feel the police or the prison officers are not equally treated like, you know, other servicemen. You know, you can tell by, you know, the nature of, you know, their environment. They're under-resourced. You know, I do believe I should take this as an opportunity to, you know, talk to the Ministry of Interior. Please consider the Gambia Prison Services, because they are really, you know, they lack capacity. If you look at the other forces like the Gambia Police Force, like, you guys are building new police stations here and there, you having new gear, you know, your men are having nice equipment, you know, you guys are being funded. You know, I do believe that there should be more equal distribution of funding even to the Gambia Prison Service, because, like, the remand wing is horrible. It's a structure from 1950 that the colonial people built as a place to, you know, oppress. Yeah, sorry. You know, so the prison service was built in 1950s, and it was built as like a place of oppression. That place, once you go there, you lose hope in life. It's a world of its own. The cells are 6 by 3 meters wide, each cell, with 11 cells in total. And each cell's capacity should be no more than 15, 14 people. And these cells hold up to 28 people. It's like this: 1, 2, 3 plates of wood, and then underneath the wood, you know, people sleep underneath within that 6 by 3 space. And when they lock the door, that's the same place where you have to pee and piss when it's time to piss and ease yourself. And even when you want to poop, you know, excuse me, you know, that's the same pot. It's called the chamber pot that you have to use until they open the gates tomorrow, or you might or you poop on yourself. So that's how horrific the conditions is. So the structures are outdated. You can see the iron rods, like Flex said yesterday on K5, the iron rods hanging from the ceilings. So these were structures meant to oppress our forefathers who fought against the colonial, imperialist, British colonizers. So it was built for them. The laws of people having their hairs cut and dreadlocks cut, you know what I'm saying, whether it's dreadlocks or long hair is cut. It was the things that the imperialist, colonial colonizers, right, used to break down the spirits of the true freedom fighters in that time, fighting against these colonizers. Because dreadlocks are a symbol of revolution. It's a symbol of defiance. Dreadlocks have a lot of, you know, significance and meaning. You know, so I'm praying and I'm talking to the Ministry of Interior respectfully. Please consider the Gambia Prison Service. They need a lot of help. The building needs to be rebuilt. There needs to be a wider environment. Transform it from being a place of oppression to a correctional structure where there's enough space, you know, where when you're there, at least you still have hope in life and know that you're a human being. But anybody that goes to mile 2, you feel like you're an animal because you're treated worse than how animals are treated. So, Ministry of Interior, please consider increasing your allowance or your budget to the prison. Even the prison officers, they suffer it. They live in worse conditions amongst these security personnel. They eat the same food that the prisoners eat. If you give a prison officer like a corned beef, like he'll eat the flavor happy. You know, I don't mean to put you guys out there like this, the prison officers. You guys, like, shout out to y'all, but I'm just explaining what you guys also face whilst trying to settle the congestion and the pressure there. There's some prison officers like you know, you can tell personally, like, they're overwhelmed. Like Bambalai, Like, we had so many visits. He had to go back and forth. The pressure, like, you know, but he maintained. He was like Ace, to know what he done about. There's a lot of people out there that, you know, they go through. And I do believe that the Ministry of Interior should really consider this. Mile 2 is horrible. The same amount of money that you're putting into the police force, you know, please try to help the prison. They need better structures. You need to make the place, you know, wider. You know, during the OIC, you guys bought vehicles that worth more than $5 million. Some go up to $10 million. I don't want to, you know, say the wrong figures, but at least $5 million it costs. One of those costs alone could build one unit of the remand center and make it better. Hey, why you? And make it better. Bena moto you government officials is jendon reglawa. Bena, when you learn Mohammed Jai. Those vehicles, the same ones that Mohammed Jah sold you guys. Just one vehicle could fix that place. But you guys neglect it. So I want to put it to the Ministry of Interior, and I am pleading to whoever has the national budget allocation, when you guys are drafting the next annual budget for our country, please consider increasing the budget for the prison. All of these prison officers, their salary is very low, right? Listen, they receive low salaries, right? On top of that, they have deductions of $500 from their salaries. And also they are heavily taxed on top of that. So you receive a small salary as a prison officer, then $500 is deducted for pension or pension, whatever. And then you are taxed again. I don't want to say the percentage because I don't know the exact percentage, but I do know that they are taxed. But and according to the credible source, they are heavily taxed on top of their small salary. So I also have to just thank the good men in uniform. Please continue that. Like this guy in Bakote police station, one of these young officers, he said, Ace, you know, you guys are human beings. And some things you see, we just follow order. We don't have, you know, we follow command, but it's not really something that we want to do. Sometimes we go to bed crying, knowing that we took an order, having to do this and that and that and this. And I really felt for him because I'm not, I know recruit your hammer to them. My son then. You know, so Gambia police force, stop Jahasebi. You guys on the top, don't sit on the top, drinking your coffee, driving your expensive vehicles, in your AC. I'm talking to the IGP down to the other high commands. Going to workshops, receiving per diem, DSAs, receiving a good salary every month. And then you make the young staff and officers do the dirty job. It's very unfair. Bro, you can tell there's a lot of officers. There's this one particular serviceman who told me, Ace, I swear to God, if officers can, like, if it was legal for officers to protest, I swear to God, this internet thing you guys are fighting for, you will see thousands of police officers, prison officers, immigration officers on the ground. Which is true, because the Public Service Act or rules and regulations, if you're a civil servant, you cannot participate in any protest whatsoever. All civil servants. So that's why I mean Boka Bulli government. Yangi bin the Yangi protest do they wa. Bulko blame, load of cosign. So there's officers out there who helped us during the times whilst there were other officers that were trying to make us go through hard and pain. So as much as there's people like SARS, SAR, I'm coming to you one fine day, like, you know, we will talk more about how people like you use your power and force to tarnish the image of our credible, noble force, you know, and how you use authority and power instead of using dialogue and conversation as we expected. So people like SAR, they will be talked about. But it's not fair for them to use the junior recruits, these young people who just graduated, these young people who should be taught a lesson that these are your brothers. These young people who receive the most lowest salary in the force. These young people who suffer more from the data increase. More than you, SAR, more than you, IGP, because you guys have wireless, you guys have good salaries, you guys have internet allowance, you guys have transport allowance, fuel allowance, everything. But these recruits, they receive around $50 a month. So it's unfair for you to use them as bait against their own brothers. How many other fans like see police officers that love me, that show me love, that support me, that you know what I'm saying? Right? And you send those same people against us, our brothers and sisters. So Sar, I don't know his name, like I hear that it's Usman Sar or Lamin Sar, but whoever knows his full name, Sar, and all of these higher ranking to the IGP upwards. Don't use the command to oppress the people. Don't use your men on it with lower authority against us. Because Yenenge has said the police force and the people. And what happened was that day was an example. You know, it was an example when it could have been avoided. It could be avoided. So I have to thank the police, you know, and last but not least, because you know today is Juma and respect to the religion as well. I'm gonna just cut it a little bit short here. Last but not least, I would like to say thanks to also the National Assembly members. I can't forget them. They came through, and a lot of influential people in the political conversation came through, supported, show love. So thank you. Also, I want to thank What's on Gambia, because they reached out to me the other day and told me, Ace, our fans really want to do a fundraiser for you. They've been requesting to do a fundraiser, you know, and they would really appreciate if they are given the light to do so. And I responded to What's on Gambia. I said, you see, me, I do this for the love. Like, definitely, I don't do this for, you know, anything. I do this out of passion. But since they want to express themselves and it's their right, you know, I'm not going to say no. You know, and the thought alone is very beautiful. And that's when they raised the fundraiser. And I heard that, you know, it reached more than $400,000. That's like, you know, 8,000 Killa. Okay, sorry guys, I have an urgent call, but wait, you will 1 second. Hello? Well, never mind. Wow, I'll be done in like 5 minutes, bro. Yeah, I'm just giving my last word of thanks. Huh? Okay, all right, thanks. All right. Yeah, man. Yeah. So a lot of supporters are calling. You know, as usual, my phone is just ringing. You know, so also I just wanna say thank you. You know, for that great gesture. I received a message to them from them today, telling me that you know they mobilized more than 400,000. You know, I sent them my response letter, and I want to say thank you to everybody. You know, and as like I don't do this for the money. I've never done it for the money. If it's about the money, I think I had opportunities to, you know, become rich a long time ago, you know, but that's not what it's for. I survive, I hustle, I go on my grind, take care of my family, pay care of school fees, and even help extend it, you know, best to the best of my abilities. But, you know, this is very, like, significant. It's a milestone where Gambians, you know, want to support the struggle and support genuine activism and advocacy. You know, I just want to thank every donor that supported, whether it's $1 whether it's $1 million whether it's whatever. You know, thank you so much, you know, for having our pain at heart, you know, to the extent where you showed your collective support as a Gambian. And also, I just want to, you know, announce what I want to do with the money once I receive the money. This is the final part where I'll be closing. You know, today is Juma. What I want to do with the money first is I want to, you know, take some of the money and share it amongst the 22 young people who were arrested along with me and detained in Mile 2. Yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to take, you know, a lot of that money and share it amongst them. Yeah, because I'm the famous one, but they equally shared the same pain and struggle with me. Some even went through more pain. Look at Bakari. You know, his shoulder was dislocated. His spinal cord was hurting. He fainted in prison. I didn't face that. And all of that happened because of his belief in the cause and seeing me as a leader, despite us meeting the first time through this experience. The Lamin sees all the other 22 kids or youths who left their families at home. I do believe they also played a part in this. Even though I'm the popular one, Bigala, Mafs too, why Nyomtamet, I Jambarlen, I Gainderlen, and I'll definitely give them a piece of them. Secondly, what I would love to do with the money is I have a project called the Uplift Project. It's when I came from Mile 2 in 2019, me and a lot of my people created something called Uplift, a prison reform project to help reintegrate young people from prison back into society. Because in the society where you're from, when you come from prison, society seems to see you as a criminal, and you're neglected and marginalized in society. And a lot of young people come from prison and then they go back to prison, because when they come out of prison back to society, society neglects them and they go back to criminal activities. So as part of the Uplift, I did 3 donations in the previous years. Thank you so much, Wawa. Did not message me. Thank you so much, really. So I've done 3 previous prison donations where I made packages of the items which consisted of gari. Just in case you don't know, gari is like gold in the prison. Like gari, milk, sugar, tea, and menstrual pads. These are some of the most sought after needs in the prison. And every year, I haven't done it for the last 2 years. I ain't gonna lie, I was kind of broke. But yeah, this is an opportunity for me to also do the 4th edition of the Uplift Prison Donation, where we'll give sugar, milk, tea, parcels. Each bag, would have sugar, milk, tea, gari, and some other stuff I forgot, as one bag, enough to last somebody for 1 week. And according to our previous donations, the first one I did the donation after my Bayi Ken Momo Dikabi concert. I took the proceeds and did that, and the 2nd edition as well, I did that along with people that supported me. So now, thank God, with this, I will be able to do the 4th edition. So what I intend to do, once I get the date, I'll let you know. I'll do another Uplift Prison donation. A lot of gari, food, milk, sugar, and menstrual pads. Because don't forget, women are also in Mile 2. And menstrual pads is very important for them. It's one of the most sought after things that they need as well. And also to the prison officers. As I said, the prison officers also go through, severe conditions and situations. So shout out to y'all, for everybody that donated and gave me the opportunity to use that same resources to give back, to the cause that made this possible. And definitely last but not least, one thing I definitely want to do with the money is I've been working on the prison project, a community center, which will have a studio space, and it'll be a little center where you can mentor these young people in the streets, the Tamambalo, and get them engaged into something positive, and help those that are out of that are in prison reintegrate back into society. So the Uplift Community Center has always been a dream, when it comes to me and my team, and I do believe this can be the start of me getting a space where I can start to equip with a studio, computer lab, and a library as a start. So I think this money could also support that great cause that has always been part of the plans, and so that's basically what I said I should announce to the public. Since it's money that was given to me from the public, I want to be accountable to you as well, even though I know the intention was for me to come to me personally, and I highly appreciate that. But I also, found that it was fair enough for me to break down how I want to, do and go ahead with the funds, So thank you so much, Gambia. Thank you so much to the international world. Thank you to the National Human Rights Center. Shout out to the lawyers, and shout out to, a lot of people that I probably forgot their name. So that's basically what it is. Yes, I'm taking most of the money. I'm giving some of the money to the comrades that I was arrested with, the 22 other inmates that I was there with. I'm going to share their cut. Each one of them going to get their share. We're going to do the prison donation and go give out some donations to the prison. And also we're going to book and rent a space as a start. We're going to rent a space, to open up the Uplift Community Center here in Talinding, Forokono. A lot of young people are here. Society, you can see Ndoyange, Tamambalo, the house is Strazebi. But now, luckily, I have, we have funds, through your support to open up or get a space, that we can rent to start off this community center. And thank you so much, my peoples. I know I spoke longer than I expected, but this is what happens when you speak from the heart. you know, things just pop up. But thank you so much. Thanks to the international community. Also, thanks to the religious leaders, you know, that pray for us, our parents, you know, our fathers, you know, everybody, you know, as even Flex as a Christian, you know, he had pastors and priests praying on our behalf. He's on our side, Sheikh Baba, all these great influential imams also pray for us. So thank you to the religious leaders as well. Can't forget you, our parents, sun yayi, sun papa yi, jërë jëf, yéen a jur jàmbaar yu mel nii, te ñu ngi mos a aussi the pain that we put you through over this last week, and everybody at large. Thank you so much. Like, I can say thank you to everybody, you know, Fiba Suba. You know, out of respect for Juma, Juma Mubarak, I'm gonna cut the live here short, and please share. Let this message be spread all over the world. You know, and if there's anybody I forgot to say thank or forget to mention, you know, in regards to this, you know, I'm sorry. You know, it's an oversight. So see you guys when I see you again. Don't forget the Sideline song is out. Brand new music is out. It's on YouTube. Please come to my GoFundMe, but I'm almost $500,000 in. Please share my music, because the music also helps me sustain myself independently. You know, the things that I do, these businesses, the t-shirts, the flight mode, buying, selling, these support me on a day-to-day basis. So if you support those, you directly support me indirectly again. So please go support. Sideline music video is out, and more songs is coming out these days, inshallah. After the Sideline, more Killer Ace music. The Kilimanjaro album is coming, so wait for that project. Thank you so much, Gambia. You know, I just don't want to stop, but I have to stop. We are lawful, we are legal, we are lawful, we are legal, we are lawful. So I think we should do a song on that. So yeah, a collaboration. We are lawful, we are legal. By Ken Momu Dekabin, One Gambia. The revolution starts now. Team Gum Sobopa. Shout out to Edward Francis, Teacher Smalls. Shout out to Gala, you know, who we all partnered with collectively in this cause. One love to Gambia. No Boka Day, no Boka Bay. Let's not allow us to be divided. Let's be united. The revolution starts now here. Partaza. Jerejef.